Hi everyone and welcome back to my kitchen. The next page in our taco manual takes us to a place that you may not know exists. It's a taco of beef tartare. What in Mexico is called carne tártara or carne pache. But when you think about it, it's got really different flavors than the European beef tartare has. I always think of it more as the flavors of a good ceviche, if you will, because it's flavored with lime, green chili, cilantro, tomatoes, onions, avocado, those kinds of things. But it's really, really wonderful to have on a hot day. The other thing I will tell you that it also is really good as something to serve with chips or tostadas primarily. I love this carne tártara on a tostada. So keep all of that in mind as you're watching to see how this goes together. It's very, very simple and straightforward. Most people in Mexico buy ground beef to start with. I don't typically choose that because I want to absolutely have the very best quality and the safest way to serve the beef. So I usually start with a chunk of beef. What I'm starting with today is a strip steak like that. Now I have already cut one up into about 1-inch pieces and put it into the freezer to firm so that I can grind it myself. Now I'm going to be grinding it in a food processor, but if you have a meat grinder, you could use that as well. That will give you the absolute best, most reliable quality. Now I'm going to run and grab the beef that has been for about 45 minutes in the freezer, and I'll show you how we are going to do the grinding of it. Okay, this is what the beef will look like. I mean, it'll look like raw beef, but when you feel it, it'll be firm on the edges, but soft in the middle. That's what I'm looking for here. That will ensure that it doesn't get sort of mushy as I'm starting to do this. I'm going to put it in here in 2 batches and chop those up. And I'm going to just keep pulsing it until I get it as to what the consistency I would call coarse ground beef. Okay, let's take a look at this now. This is kind of what I'm looking for, what I would call coarse ground beef texture there. It still has some texture. It's certainly not as smooth as what you would use for, like, say, a pate or something like that. So I've got this half done now, and I will do our second half. Now I'm going to combine everything in a bowl here, but the lime juice that we're using, fresh squeezed lime juice here, is going to go right into the food processor along with a couple of chipotle chilies. So this can be made either what I would call a green chili or a red chili version of it. I tend to like the red chili version better, but the green chili version is definitely the most common one that you find. So if you are not using chipotle chilies for this, then you will want to chop up some little green, like serranos, jalapenos, something like that. Chop them and then put them in here. I am going to add just a little bit of Worcestershire sauce to it. It deepens the flavor, and I really like that. This is what would be called salsa inglesa in Mexico. And then I'll put the top on it, and we're going to puree that and give color in this situation because of the chipotles to that lime juice. Very nice. Now, I want to boost that chipotle flavor by putting about a tablespoon of the canning liquid for the chipotles in here as well. And that will, of course, add that sort of smoky, sweet flavor. Okay, everything is looking good there. So this is going to go now directly into the beef and scrape all of it in there. It's not a lot of lime juice, so this does taste bright like a ceviche would, but not as bright as a normal ceviche. And then mix everything together. I got one little piece that didn't get ground up, so I'll pull that out. It's so delicious. It just makes my mouth water to make this. Now there's a place in Mexico City that is really famous for it, and it's my go-to place now for tacos, tacos de guisados. It's a place called El Jarocho, and they have about 20 different fillings for tacos, but one of the things that they make is carne tártara, which I just adore there. Okay, so we've got it mixed nicely. The next things that we're going to put in here are the vegetables, the classic vegetables, and I just went ahead and cut them up, except for the cilantro and the avocado. But we have some tomato and white onion here that's going in. And then I'm going to cut up this avocado, and I'm just going to do it by scoring the avocado up to the skin. Go one way and then go the other way. Everything for the carne tártara is typically chopped fairly finely. And then I'm just going to scoop that out directly into the bowl here. And you've got all your little tiny pieces. It's, to me, the easiest way to go about this. And I've got the second half of it. And scoop that in there. And then we need some cilantro. I'm going to just take a big handful of it and chop it very finely. And we'll scoop all of that into the bowl here. I'm going to give it a preliminary amount of salt just to get it started. Then I'll come back and taste it for the final seasonings. But we'll just fold all of this mixture in here, and that's really all it is in the preparation of this dish. That you have to be careful to get everything very evenly distributed through the carne tártara. Okay, so now I am going to clean everything up here, and then I'm going to show you how you serve it. Okay, a little taste here. Just a little sprinkling of salt, and then fold all of that thoroughly in. And then I'm going to scoop this all into a pretty bowl. This is the way I suggest that you serve it, is put the bowl on the table and let people either pile it onto chips or tostadas or warm tortillas. And that way you're not trying to encourage just one version of it. I, of course, like to take some of these fresh cilantro leaves and sprinkle them over the top of it like that. So if you're going to make this into tostadas, then I would suggest that you just do it like this. And this is something that you could make and pass around to your guests so that they can enjoy it without having to do that. But don't make it up too early because the tostada itself will get soggy. Put another leaf on the top of that one there. Or if you're going the taco route, which is actually my favorite way to eat this, then you will put these couple of things here and pile the carne tártara on them. And there are some people that like to chop up a little bit of fresh cheese, either queso fresco or queso panela, and put that into this mixture too. So if that sounds attractive to you, then you've got A lot of options here. You might want to serve this also with a Mexican hot sauce like Valentina or Tamazula, but I will tell you, this is one of my very favorite things to serve during the warm weather months.